Newfoundland is really special because you have the convergence of the Labrador Current and the Gulf Stream right off our coast, and it creates a really rich marine environment. And it's the reason why we have the largest concentration of humpback whales coming here in the summer, and we have just 2.5 million seabirds coming to breed off our coast right here where I live.
Well, I've paddled in a number of areas around the world, and for me, I think Newfoundland would stack up with any place, anywhere. The icebergs that come down from Greenland.
In the island part of Newfoundland alone, we have 17,000 kilometers of coastline. The terrain is very clean. It hasn't been industrialized at all, so we tend to have a very pristine environment, which attracts a lot of wildlife.
We're on our way to Cape St Mary, where there is a big gannet colony. We're going to go and have a look at the colony and then paddle to it afterwards, so fingers crossed for good weather.
Unfortunately, there's thick fog at the colony, but it's still an impressive sight.
This is amazing! There's about 11,000 nesting pairs. We're all on that tiny rock. Driving back to the gannet colony, we couldn't get to see them yesterday from the water because it was too foggy, so we're really hoping today that it's going to be a good day. Wow, look at that sea of white up there.
Pretty good, 11,000 pairs of gannets. And they seem to be expanding as well. And they're not just on the stack, they're actually on the mainland, which is, I've never seen that before. So they're doing really well. Obviously there's a shortage of stacks here, but that doesn't seem to matter. So it's just fantastic to see such a healthy population. I think the noise comes from when they're bickering on the ground. When they're in the air, they don't make a sound. It doesn't look like.
It's incredible. There's all these other birds as well, and it's so cool that they don't fly into each other. I've never seen so many birds.
On the northernmost tip of Newfoundland lies a small, isolated island called Harpoon. The only place to stay is the lighthouse, and the only way to get there is by boat, helicopter or kayak. It's known for its rugged beauty, its icebergs and its whales. It's a 7-kilometre paddle from the mainland to the lighthouse on the northern tip of Harpoon. A lot further if you explore all the bays and cliffs. We're paddling up the east coast of the island with Ed English from Explore Newfoundland. He's promised us this is a great place for icebergs.
This whole area is called Iceberg Alley. The icebergs fall off Greenland and Baffin Island, and then the Labrador Current takes them right down towards Newfoundland and then off to the southern coast, and that's where they melt. This is as far north as you can get, so this is where the iceberg watching is absolutely great. Most years, you'll see dozens out here. 90% come off Greenland, and then you'll get about 10% come off Baffin Island. And then after about 2 or 3 years, they work their way down the coast of Labrador and end up here.
Bad, eh? Bad.
Not bad at all. Beautiful. The ice, you can hear it every now and again. It's like a loud firework. It just goes crack.
This ice is old. It's 5,000 to 10,000 years old. And when it gets exposed to the sun, to the water, it starts expanding again. You start getting cracks forming. It's not ice from frozen water, it's snow that got compressed, and there was air in that snow, so the ice has a lot of air in it. And as it melts, that air expands and pops out. You don't just get a big chunk of ice falling off. It dissolves into a billion pieces, and they'll cover acres of just slush. It sounds like almost like butter or water thrown on a frying pan and just popping around on the frying pan. And you can paddle through and it'll hop all around your kayak and actually get loud.
Justine, the purists wouldn't approve, but I highly recommend putting this in the Scotch. Heading home for supper.
After supper, we head to the whale watching hut.
I can hear thousands of ears coming out this ice. On this Irish ice, which is very hard. I mean Irish whiskey.
We're here in tropical Torres Cove, Newfoundland, Labrador. We're getting ready to paddle out into the Witless Bay Ecological Reserve, which is reserved for nesting seabirds. So we hope to see some puffins, some turs, and maybe if we're lucky, even a Leach's storm petrel or two. My name is Richard Alexander, and I'm from St. John's, Newfoundland. I've been paddling for about a dozen years now, and like most Canadians, I started off in a canoe and spent a fair bit of time in a canoe. And then about 12 years ago, I was fortunate enough to go out on a short little tour in a sea kayak. And I thought to myself, my God, this is absolutely incredible. Riding swells and getting close to wildlife and sea cliffs and caves and sea stacks and whales. To me, it's too good to be true. And being from a maritime province or a maritime area, you know, the sea is very much part of our heritage. And this was a way of getting in touch with the ocean and doing recreation at the same time.
We picked a great day. Just absolutely fantastic.
This is the Witless Bay Ecological Reserve. This is Great Island behind us. This would be the Toronto, or any large city, I guess, of the bird kingdom. There's millions of birds on these islands, somewhere between 3 and 4 million. A lot of different kinds. One of the most numerous would be the puffin, which is the provincial bird of Newfoundland, Labrador. Approximately 450,000 puffins, which would make this the largest Atlantic puffin colony in the world. And they choose these islands to breed because there's an excellent food supply here. Come June, we'll have a tiny little fish, about this big, called a capelin, which will spawn, and this entire bay will be just full of capelin. The birds are here for the capelin, but so are the whales. So during the summer months, this bay has the highest concentration of humpback whales in the world. A good tip for any visitor is if you're bird watching next to the cliffs, it's perfectly acceptable to look up, but don't open your mouth. Unless you have a very strong stomach, of course.